Greetings everybody. Lazyween is almost done and over with. In fact, after today's video, with the video that's going up tomorrow as a Halloween special, I suppose I should say, it is almost the end of October. It's sad to think about, I know. But I've looked at a lot of things this year. A lot of horror movies, horror anime, and especially horror manga. And don't worry, I will continue this trend out of next year. Whatever in my collection that I didn't get to this year, just remember that there's always a next year. And I'll be having fun planning my next year of Lazyween reviews. But with that out of the way, I decided we're going to talk about horror manga that I have, but only the first volume of the horror manga that I own. And I have quite a spectacle of collection of 4 of them. So if you remember my comic book review when I took a look at 4 singular issues of Marvel comic books, Spider-Man, Moon Knight, Ghost Rider, and Uncanny X-Men, we're going to take a look at 4 volume 1s of manga that I own and unfortunately didn't get back to. For whatever reason. There's still some more horror manga that I own in my collection that I haven't exactly gotten to yet, so there's always more for the next season that involves spooks and spirits and ghosts and everything. Oh my. So I decided that we're going to take a look at 4 individual horror mangas coming up. But to be fair, when we were growing up, your mother had always told you never to play with sharp objects. Knives, scissors, chainsaws. Oh wait, that was my mother. Yeah, but anyways, let's talk about the first volume of Chainsaw Man and see what happened to this legendary character and how it had grown so much in popularity within just a basically short time, in my opinion. But before we jump into the manga, there was something I kind of stupidly forgot. Greetings, Ghouls and Goblins, or the universe, and I'm white and nerdy. And yes, we're taking a look at 4 individual horror mangas here. With the first one I'll be getting into in just a second. Chainsaw Man will be our first review. Our second review will be Dead Man Wonderland. Dead Man Wonderland. Soul Eater, and then finally one of my personal favorite horror mangas that I've read and never gotten the second volume to, Tokyo Ghoul. So with that out of the way, we are actually going to start things off. We're talking about I just had to put the manga down there. We're talking about the legendary Chainsaw Man, and like I said, no, seriously, this manga had grown in popularity within such a short time, it feels like, and it finally got its freaking anime adaptation. I haven't seen it, but you know. So let's talk a little bit about the legendary rise to stardom, the legendary man, myth, and legend known only as the one and only Chainsaw Man. By the way, I bought this around my birthday, for my birthday, something like that. So when it was brand new, as well as my Marvel from Power Ranger DVD box set. So let's talk about some chainsaws, man. We open up Chainsaw Man with introducing us to our main character, Denji, holding a chainsaw dog. What? Didn't you all have one? And facing down an octopus plant-looking thing. Seriously, this thing's kind of horrifying. We learn that Denji is a devil hunter, that he hunts down demons, devils, onis, all sorts of things, mythology creatures, all that type of jazz, and he gets paid for doing so. We learn that Denji is not that old, probably a teenager, and that everybody is happy that Denji mostly does what he's told without being rebellious. However, Denji wasn't always supposed to be a legendary character. He actually had first met his dog while he was out trying to commit suicide. It's blatantly obvious for the point, and the dog basically, you might well say, saved him from doing such a dishonorable deed. As he makes the dog a deal. If the dog bites him, the dog can basically contact him as his master, and if he draws blood, it will be a contract. If he doesn't draw blood, then the dog can go away and do as it pleases, thus making a bond and friendship between Denji and his puppy Snuppy. I'd like to point out one thing before I go any further. All 4 of these mangas do and suffer with a lot of dark and depression things like suicide, death, blood and gore, a whole bunch of these things, psychological horror, you name it, these mangas have it. So, if you're thinking, this is great for me to pick up for my child. Don't do that. No, do that. All of these are rated older for teenagers or basically adults. Don't do that. No, 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 no. Don't do that. If you love and honor your children, don't do that until they are ready to do so. But yeah, there are, especially in like Soul Eaters, there's like also sexual jokes in Soul Eaters. So don't do that. Don't do that. Um, yeah, I kind of forgot of the hangman or the hanging suicide that's in Chainsaw Man. So take my word for this. Don't do that. I am not telling anybody to do that. Please don't do that. Your life is worth a lot more than you know. Please don't do that for the love of all that is good in this world. You are more worth than what I am showing you in this manga. This is just a manga. This is just a review. So please, YouTube or anyone else, don't take me seriously here. So with that out of the way, and that warning, and if you don't want to watch this video because you're sensitive to these things, or you have someone that went through them, or you tried to, I'm not going to judge it, but just know that your life is worth more than you know, and that it's okay if you click off this video because you can't handle it. It's totally fine by me. As someone that suffers mental illness myself, I completely understand. So it is up to you. With that out of the way, let's see what Denji is up to, and I'm gonna segue badly. They see me rolling, they hating, all just because I'm just so wide and nerdy. Let's go back to Chainsaw Man. I tried to make that rhyme, but didn't work. Anyways, let's see what Denji's up to. We soon learn that with Denji there's more to meet the eye. He's actually apparently sick. He states in the manga that his mother had a disease or heart condition where she coughed out blood and unfortunately died. So this means that Denji probably had the same way. But while being attacked by some demons, Denji and Puchita actually combine. They combine to make the most awesome thing of all, especially while demons are staring them down in the face, because this is a demon manga, they end up transforming. Denji telling them that one way or another, they're gonna slay some demons and they're gonna go through hell to get them. And Denji is transformed into the legendary Chainsaw Man from the cover. He is soon found by a young girl. Makima is her name, and Makima ends up bringing Denji along as her pet, especially doing anything and everything for him. We learn that Makima is a little different than Denji, and in fact she keeps calling him her pet. Maybe that means that she hired him as her guardian, basically like a guardian angel and someone to protect her. I don't think that the manga really explains how this works. But we soon realize that Denji is, well, yes, a devil hunter, and yes, everything's going to hell in a handbasket for him. He does have one thing that usually all teenagers have in common. He's horny. And specifically, he is very attracted to Makima, and in fact, he is very, very, very obsessed with boobs, or opais, or melons, or whatever that you want to call them. So much so he cannot contain himself any time that he's around Makima, and especially since he wants to touch some. Especially since he shouts out to the top of his lungs, melons, for some damn reason. However, his dream is soon shattered when he finds out that Makima actually is a devil and she brought Denji back to a devil who is going to eat him. A huge demonic bat. Close enough. As mostly, our hero Denji is mostly obsessed with getting back his opais, or boobies. So while the demon grabs him, he decides to hell with this demon. He's going to do what he can to get him. So he summons a chainsaw through his head. That's not weird. And he's turned into the Chainsaw Man and defeats the demon, ending off our first volume. Now it is time for our second volume worth reading, Dead Man Wonderland. And because I'm also busy, please excuse me as I try to get through the next three mangas as quickly as possible without making much jokes or whatever. Because, yeah, I gotta be doing something very soon. So I'm just gonna try to breeze through these, as I'm pre-recording this as quickly as possible because I got shit that I need to do. I kind of planned this on the worst morning, but I'll get through that. So, anyways, let's go to Dead Man Wonderland. Kenta Igarashi had just started a new semester of middle school. He's excited. He, especially all of his friends, are talking about everything new that's been going on. The new school, the new prison that's been built, everything. Why would children be talking about prison? I don't know. As a mysterious man in red, that's just what he's known as, sways his entire classmates, but Genta is soon to blame for the murders, even though he told police it was a man in red. Police don't believe him, however, sentencing him to the death sentence. So of course he'll be going to the one place where death sentences can be fully written out. Dead Man Wonderland. The Wonderland, however, is not a great place to be, as pointed out by his commanding officer, Butty McBoobuster over here. And actually that is true, because it points out in the manga that you can see that she is in fact a G-Cup. Because sure, why not? As she points out that there is no easy way of escaping, that once you're inside, the only way out is through the sweet relief of death. We soon find out that Dead Man Wonderland is not only a prison, it's an amusement park. It's a place where people can go to see people be eviscerated, cut in half, destroyed, blood gushing before their very eyes. If people wanted that, they could just watch horror movies, but what do I know? A Ganta realizes what he's in for. Ganta is soon to be killed off in the Dead Man Wonderland for what he had done to his classmates, despite him telling everybody that it was a man in red. He soon realized the world that he's in for. As it turns out, Ganta wasn't crazy. In fact, the man in red showed his face at Dead Man Wonderland of all places, as he just blowed through his competition, eviscerating body after body, for what reason is unknown. As Ganta is surprised that he has a new superpower that goes and courses through his blood. Whether that because of the candy that he ate or not, he doesn't know, as he shoots a blood bullet at the man in red. Yes, I said blood bullet. As the man in red is not too impressed with Ganta's new powers. But of course he tries to make him wonder what he's going through, as he only calls him Woodpecker and soon disappears, soon letting him know that he's in for a world of hurt, and especially with what's going on. What are these newfound powers? Who is the man in red, and why is he on death row? As it will be continued in Volume 2. Moving right along, or speeding right along, we're going into the magical world of Soul Eater. And boy, this is going to be kind of a mess to get through since there are three stories, technically four, centered around three different characters. I'll do the best that I can at summarizing up the stories pretty quickly as we go through them, yeah, wish me luck. So let's go into the magical world of Halloween Town, or whatever that is named, and let's check out this spiritual season of Halloween, and let's check out the soul eaters that live there. Our first story introduces us to two main characters, Maka and her stylist named Soul. Soul had just eaten 99 souls, and all he needs is one more to become an all-powerful weapon. So in order to do that, they need to hunt down a witch. So they decide to hunt down the only witch that they know of, the Witch Blair, a sexy busty witch that just so happened to be taking a bath at the wrong time when Soul comes crashing into her window. How appalling. But they're gonna find out that this witch comes very much prepared, and in fact she doesn't like people ruining her me time, as she blasts them out of her house over and over and over again. Until Blair is just sick and tired of them and decides, you know what, the hell with this. You people want me, so you people are going to have me. So guess what? Bring it on, because this witch is more than you bargained for. And in fact, she actually is putting up a pretty damn good fight between the two of them, with Maka realizing and also her father realizing that, yeah, she's in for a lot more than she bargained for, but she can do it. We believe her. She does nothing to it. So it turns out that Soul didn't transform through all this. But why is that? Blair points out that Blair is just a cat with really strong magical abilities, with also the ability to be transformed. As Reaper Sama is not very happy about this, so he tells Marker and Saul, yeah, well, better luck next time, because this is not what I signed you to do. Moving along to our second story, Black Star, which is, demon weapon, Tsubaki. As they go after an Al Capone type character, as Star points out that he's very happy about how they've been accomplishing things. Tsubaki doesn't very much agree because things haven't been going so well for the two of them, as they have to hunt down a legendary swordsman. In fact, that makes Black Star very, very happy. The gangster points out that he's not so very much happy about Black Star coming after him, and that he is the strongest, not Black Star, throughout this world. It made Black Star questionable to go after the swordsman, as in fact he ends up finding him. And the swordsman is basically a lot more than Black Star had bargained for. Tsubaki points out that this reason is because that Black Star has no focus. He doesn't focus on how much that Tsubaki is very strong. He does this, and they have their conversation while Tsubaki trying to take a shower. Of course they do. But in the meantime, they go and hunt down the swordsman, who is actually in a legendary or kind of beat up place. The place is very, very strange. Even the sun isn't happy to be shining down upon this place. Weird. And anyway, Tsubaki tried to fight the legendary swordsman, but he ends up getting his ass handed to him because the swordsman is very, very powerful. But Black Star, through time and patience, manages to withhold back the swordsman. But before Black Star manages to pull the final blow upon the swordsman, Mifune is his name, a little witch comes out and tells them that Mifune is her bodyguard. And without Mifune, she's basically dead in this world since a lot of soul reapers or soul hunters end up tracking down upon witches, so she begs them not to kill Mifune, as Black Star leaves knowing that he had faced the strongest, and that in order to become the strongest, he's gonna have to do it a different way, not killing an innocent person in front of a little girl. We move on to our last manga chapter, or kind of technically last chapter, as we meet my favorite character, Death the Kid, with his two guns, Patty and Willie. He ends up having everything be symmetrical, including yelling at his own two weapons that they're off their markers, and that they are not exactly symmetrical like he is, who is all about symmetry. He even points out that their breast sizes are different. Of course he does. Why not do that? As Patty and Liz point out, he's not exactly symmetrical either. As Death says, yeah, blah blah blah, let's kill some demons. As in fact he actually does so. We put him back to his father, Reaper Sama, that ends up telling him that, hey, listen son, I'm very proud of the work that you have done, but we got some problems that involve taking down a large monster of some sort, like a mummy. Would you mind going after them? As in fact, he ends up going to the mummy's tomb. In fact, it's kind of pointed out at the Brandon Fraser mummy movie of all things. Very, very weird. As he ends up trying to figure out what the mummy has hidden secret, as his gun, Patty and Willie points out that that's not really important right now. What is more important is trying to figure out what the mummy wants with everything, and especially that this ends up being played out very, very tremendously, as the mummies start attacking the three team. They Death ends up finding out that there is more to meet CI behind this. We actually also find out that Patty and Louie can use each other as weapons, not just Death, for whatever reason that is for. And anyway, they end up taking down mummy by mummy, one right after the other, as the pharaoh within the tomb rises up from his grave. And since Patty and Louie are there, and Death is long gone, he ends up capturing Patty and Louie. But only just for a little bit. He doesn't end up capturing them for very long, as Death ends up coming to save the day, telling them that they should in fact take off all the wrapping that's left on them, leaving Death to eye goggle his own guns. This manga is weird, but I love it for Death's reason. So the three of them end up going after the mummy, the pharaoh, within the tomb, as Death ends up pointing out that the mummy is in fact very much within the tomb, and that there is no way for him to defeat this mummy. It is in fact way too powerful for Death, as Patty and Willie had to pull Death from his own standards and makes him remember that he is in fact powerful. This in fact inspired Death to not only kill the Sphinx or the Pharaoh within inside the tomb, but bring down the tomb as well. As Death is still upset that not everything is symmetrical, and again points out that Patty and Liz have different boob sizes, because that's so important. Breezing through the last story as quickly as I can, Maka and the team, Maka, Black Star, and Death, have a job to do going after somebody that's been resurrecting zombie corpses. As the zombies start coming up around them within just a few minutes from within. So the zombie points out that they should be scared because the person that resurrected him is not within his right mind. And in fact, the zombie is very strong. In fact, picking up his own gravestone and using it as a weapon against the three of them. Mostly Black Star and Maka are in the chapter, not Death the Kid. I guess they couldn't pay for his cameo, as they find out that he's more than they bargained for, as he talks about a master that is way too powerful for the two of them to take down together. Even if they had Death the Kid, they'd still be outnumbered. But through trial and error, Death, Black Star, and Maka end up taking down this man. And in fact, it's mostly thanks to Black Star trapping him within a trap star, because of course it is. So, everything goes well and planned, and they end up talking to Reaper Sama, as well as Death the Kid, who makes his debut cameo through this. As they find out that the master that he's talking about is the one and only Dr. Stein, who is sitting inside his laboratory trying to figure out what his plan is next. With that being said, let's jump right into Tokyo Ghoul. We meet Ken Kaneki, when talking to his best friend about the latest school sighting that's been happening, and they don't know why people have been going missing and why people are suddenly just disappearing. As suddenly the most beautiful woman in the world walks into the restaurant, as Kaneki's friend tells him, "Hey, you should go after her. She's quite the looker, and in fact, she got some impressive size enhancements, if you know what I mean." Kaneki agrees and takes the nice woman out for a day out of town. She dresses up nice, they go up for dates, and everything seems to be all nice around. However, Kaneki soon realizes that the woman that he's dating is not all that she's cracked up to be, as in fact she tells him that while she's been around him, she couldn't withhold being away from him, as in fact she transformed before his very eyes and tried to eat him, for as you see, she is a ghoul, and she wants to eat him. Kaneki tried to run away. Unfortunately, it doesn't work, as the girl walks closer and closer, and in fact almost killing him. But in fact, he ends up being saved by a mysterious person, someone that we don't know, who ends up saving his life, much for the better and or for the worse. He ends up being woken up in the hospital, not remembering what happened, but being foretold of that there's ghouls out there on the streets. Somebody is looking for him, and in fact he had delusional nightmares. While he wakes up in the hospital, the police tell him what happened, and that he had to have a kidney transplant. Kaneki doesn't know why at first, but he finds out that everything that he eats he can't keep down. Nothing can satisfy his hunger, nothing can satisfy his needs. Everything just keeps getting worse and worse, until he finds out that he is indeed a ghoul, as he meets another one who tells him that if he doesn't eat body parts, he'll soon grow weak, and the infection inside of him will turn against him. But Kaneki doesn't believe that he's a ghoul, until he finds out the dark secret. They gave him the young woman's kidney, the one that was a ghoul that tried to kill him, as he tried to commit surgery on himself to pull out the kidney. It doesn't go well. In fact, when he stabs himself, the knife breaks. He realizes that he had no escape from this world. There is no other choice for him, because now he is a ghoul, and he is afraid of hurting someone near and dear to him. While on his way home, he is attacked by bullies yet again, as the woman tells him that he just needs to give in to the monster side of him. Give in to the urge. Give in and eat humans. It's not so bad, and in fact, once you give in to it, it can be kind of enjoyable, in fact. But Kaneki will not eat. He cannot eat humans. He doesn't want to admit that he's become a monster like her. In fact, the more that he resists the urge, the weaker that he gets. In fact, another ghoul and almost takes him down and kills him, until he is ended up saved by the young woman that he almost told him to eat from before. And also not giving in to his urges, he soon freaks out. He hulks out upon the young man. And in fact, Kaneki is a lot more powerful than he realizes. He has in fact become a ghoul, a very powerful one at that, as he tells that he can't let anyone die, so he'll try to become their protector. As the manga ends with a nice young man who almost looks like Alfred Pennyworth telling him that he is the only person that can walk between two worlds, and soon he had to pick a side, human or ghoul. I hope I have enticed my audience to check out these mangas because they are all awesome in their own regard. But the one that I love the most is actually Tokyo Ghoul, which is a great psychological monster horror, but I recommend all of them to you guys. So, if you have any more horror manga recommendations, let me know in the comments down below. And anyways, I've been Lazy Universe, I've always nudie. Keep your on, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me at Twitter with the link in the description down below. And Lazyween is almost over, my friends. Yes, unfortunate as it is. But come back here for Halloween night, as we'll be enjoying one final video together. My top 10 favorite horror movies. Until next time, I've been Lazy Universe, I've await nudie, keep your on, and as always guys, take care, and stay spooky, and I'll see you for the top 10 favorite horror films.